Ja. Just det, ska så långt. Good evening and welcome to Scór 85 here in Ballyanly. Now, we start off the evening's programme with Rinca Forna in Muskerry, Éireog, Evelyn and Dunamore. Now, first of all, I'd like to thank you first to stay in your seats, be as quiet as possible. By all means, clap for your team, but I don't want any whistles or any other interference. So we start off with the first team tonight in Brincaforna in Muskerry. And we have Éire Óg. Time we have Evlera. And finally for Rincaforna, Dunamore. Recitation. We have four competitors: Mary Sinead Toomey of Dunamore, Bernadette Shea of Haberlock, Clean O'Mara of Ballinora, and Breed Gallivan of Evlera. Now, so please, small bit of order and stay in your seats. Thank you. Sinead Toomey of Dunamore with peace.
Lonely orphan, that is a crushing load. My name is Jim McCartan, and I lived in the Falls Road. My parents were not bigoted. They lived a life of peace, prepared to help the neighbours, regardless of their creed. We were happy, the three of us, mother, father, and their son, until the day my father fell to a cruel assassin gun. Now life for me changed drastically. The fun and joy were past. The bombings, shootings, killings left all of us aghast. My mother did the best she could. Oh, she was very brave. And every Sunday, wet or dry, we'd visit Daddy's grave. Then came that fateful Sunday, on the 21st of May. It tears my heart asunder just to think of that sad day. We were visiting my aunties in the centre of Belfast. Little did we think that day would be my mammy's last. Suddenly, the street exploded. I was dashed down on the ground. All around was smoke and lightning and a shocking, frightening sound. I raised my eyes and looked about as debris flew and fell. The shocking sight that met my eyes is gruesome just to tell. There was blood upon the footpath and blood upon the street, and the place seemed littered with mangled limbs. And my mother lay at my feet. Good God, I cried as Mammy did. I jumped up from the ground, but in her side, below her ribs, a gaping wound I found. She looked at me through glazing eyes. She knew that she was dying. She mumbled through her blood-soaked lips, "My son, now stop your crying. God wants me in heaven. That is his holy will. And someday, too, he'll send for you. Our cup of joy he'll fill." She closed her eyes, and with a prayer, she died there in my arms. She was buried next to Daddy, outside near Kenton Farms. Ever since that day, I've roamed these streets dejected, lonely, lost, unwanted, by everyone rejected. Now I hear that sound again, the noise of bomb and gun. Oh, I'm frightened. Is it safer to stay here or to run? Pain. I'm surely going to die. But hark! What's that faint form I see above me in the sky? It's Mammy! I see Mammy! Mammy, wait for me and take me up to heaven to be with Dad and thee. Yes? Yes? You really mean that all's peace? That violence has no place? That orange men and papists share in that godly grace? That IRA and UVF are friends and do not kill? That Paisley's men and provosts obey God's holy will? Oh, ma'am, that is the life I want, with love and joy and peace. So, ma'am, take me in your own arms. My life on earth now cease. Goodbye, my friends, I'm going from you to join my God above. And someday, too, you'll see like me a life that's full of love.
Have to appeal to you for a small bit of order, please. Bernadette O'Shea of Ahabolog with Father Pat McGilligan.
That's the roses, yeah. The Ballad of Father Gilligan by William Butler Yeats. The old priest Peter Gilligan was weary night and day, for half his flock were in their beds, or under green sods lay. Once, while he nodded on a chair at the moth hour of eve, another poor man sent for him, and he began to grieve. "I have no rest, nor joy, nor peace, for people die and die. And after cried he, God forgive, my body spake not I. He knelt and leaning on a chair, he prayed and fell asleep. The mothers went from the fields, and the stars began to peep. They slowly into millions grew, as the leaves shook in the wind. And God had covered the world with shade, and whispered to mankind. Upon a time of sparrow chirp, when the moths came once more, the old priest Peter Gilligan stood upright on the floor. Muffron, the man has died, while I slept on the chair. He roused his horse out of his sleep, and rode with little care. He rode now like he never rode, by rocky lane and fen. The sick man's wife opened the door. Father, you've come again. And is the poor man dead? He cried. He died an hour ago. The old priest Peter Gilligan in grief swayed to and fro. When you were gone, he turned and died, as merry as a bird. The old priest Peter Gilligan, he knelt to mat that word. He who had made the night of stars for souls who tire and bleed, sent one of his great angels down to help me in my need. He who was dressed in purple robes and planets in his care, had pity on the least of things, asleep upon a chair.
Feature for Keno Mara of Ballanora with Father Pat Ryan.
Father Pat Ryan. Now Father Pat Ryan is a nice holy man, and he comes to our schoolhouse whenever he can. And Mrs. Maguire, that's the teacher, you know, opens the door and bows very low, with a sweet smiling face, and how genteel is she. It's just at that moment you think, lawsy me, she wouldn't say boo to a goose for a pound. There are a queer lot of hypocrites knocking around. Now wait till I tell you what happened one day. We all missed our lessons, but Mary O'Shea. Get out in a line, roared Mrs. Maguire, taking a poker red hot from the fire. Then, just at that moment, Father Pat we could hear. We all jumped for joy and near gave a cheer. The teacher got into a terrible fuss. She opened the door and forgot about us. Mrs. Maguire stood behind the priest's back, and her face, it was turning from purple to black. Father Pat leaned his chin on his hand and said he, I've got a few questions I'd like to ask ye. Said he to Peg Doyle, and he started to grin. What part of catechism now are ye in? The girl stood for a moment, as mute as could be. Then, Father, said she, we're in purgatory. Oh, Father Pat Ryan, may you live very long, and come to our schoolhouse to preach again strong, and keep a cross teacher like Mrs. Maguire, biting her lips with her back to the fire. And if ever they open a school up above, won't you often call in and talk of God's love? Sure, what am I saying? I must be a fool. How could it be heaven if there was a school?
Just before I call the final competitor, Illamatra, Martina Carey in Escara, Helen O'Leary Ballangary, Susan O'Mara Ballinora, Angela Desmond Rogue, and finally for recitation, Reid Gallivan with the old cannon. Rita Gallivan of Evelera with the old cannon.
The old cannon. In the old house in Ballyanly, he sat in a fading light. An old cannon with thin grey hair, rapidly fading sight. As the room grew dark, still he sat and stared, neath the greying window pane, and memories crept along the road that he'd never walk again. 'Twas a Christmas morning 80 years ago, an altar boy of 10. He served his first mass, 'twas at 6 o'clock, he remembered it again. How he had run through the dawn with his cheeks aglow, with his eyes on the Christmas box that the priest always gave to the boys at first mass, and that was the first of life's shocks. But a visiting priest at first mass that day, and the parish priest waited till 8. It was he gave the Christmas box out to the boys, and one time it paid to be late. But the innocent mind of a simple young child overcomes life's adversities well. He achieved one ambition at Mass, at Sanctus. It was he who rang the bell. The old cannon stirred, and a smile lit his face, and the great log settled and flamed, and the flickering lights as the shadows advanced, furtive, grotesque, and ashamed. The flames leapt and died, and the darkness was kind, for it helped hide the old cannon's tears, and memories and fingers turned back the pages of years. He remembered the day when he was first ordained, how his mother did rejoice. He gave her his blessings and thought of his dad. No, he'd never again hear his voice. Yes, his father had toiled from dawn to night, if it snowed or hailed or rained, to make his son a priest, but died before he was ordained. He remembered one evening when he was alone, as he stood in the now empty hall, with the spirit of freedom warm in himself, a young man who had answered the call. How he walked in the gardens and looked in the sky, at the moon and the stars overhead. Fancy, he given his blessings through the night to his father now dead. And then that bright day came when he got his first parish. How glad he had been when it came. He loved his first letter he got from his friends, with the letters PP to his name. He loved his new church and the parishioners too. Yes, his dad would be proud of his son, and looked at the parish and saw there was much work to be done. He liked the dear ladies who worked in the altar, and the brothers of Vincent de Paul. They worked with a will, and the solidities too. In no time they had built a new hall. Yes, the young people would come when their day's work was done, for dancing or musical games, and the rich and the poor would pass through its doors, and nobody would question their names. And never a tinker, a beggar or tramp was turned away from its door, for the boy was poor himself, and had special feelings for the poor. No, he wasn't soft, the sinner oft could hear his sermon thunder. He spoke of the evil down below, and the greater torments under. He remembered the day 10 years ago, a November day. It was cold, when the bishops had mentioned the old priest's home for the priest who had now grown too old. How he went to the church when the bishop had left and fell on his knees to pray, God, grant them let me hear, and don't let them send me away. I am not too old, I can still preach yet. I rise every morn with the sun. He admitted his age to himself. He murmured, thy will shall be done. So the old canon sat in the old priest's home, and again the fire crackled and glowed, and the flickering firelight now showed a tranquil old face which had glistened a tear, a bent and a mobile old head. Once more he had answered the call from above, the lovable canon now dead.
Stephen Killamashra, Martina Carey of Enniscarra, Helen O'Leary Ballyanly, Susan O'Mara of Ballinora, Angela Testament of Erogue. At this moment of order again, please. Please stay in your seat. This moment of order there now, please. And this time we have Seamus Scriven of Killamashra with the boys of Bornastrada.
Oh, the town, it climbs the mountain and looks upon the sea. In sleeping time or waking, it is there I long to be, to walk again that kindly street, in the place my life began, with the boys of Barnashride, who haunted farther on. With cudgel stout we roamed about, to haunt the gate rolling. We searched for birds in every forest, from Litter to Dooney. We jumped for joy beneath the sky. Life has no pain or plan for the boys of Barnashride, who haunted farther on. And when the wheel of life runs down, and peace comes over me, just lay me down in that old stone, between the hills and sea. I'll take my rest in those green fields, in the place my life began, where the boys of Barnashride went hunting farther on.
Martina Carey of Enniscarra. Martina Carey of Enniscarra with Mary of the Lee.
When two lovers meet down beside the creaking bower, when two lovers meet down beside beside the green tree. And Mary, my son Mary, declared unto her lover, you have stolen my poor heart from the banks of the Lee. For I loved her very dearly, so true and so sincerely. There was none in this wide world I love more than she. Every bush and every bower, every rose and pretty flower reminds me of my Mary from the banks of the Lee. Don't stay out late tonight, love, on the moorland, my Mary. Don't stay out late tonight, love, too long away from me. And little was her notion when we parted o'er the ocean, that we forever parted from the banks of the Lee. I will pluck my love some roses, some blooming Irish roses. I will pluck my love some roses, the finest of her bloom, and I will place them on the grave of my own dear darling Mary, in that cold and silent graveyard where she sleeps neath the dew.
Helen O'Leary of Ballyanly, which Shivani Guerra.
Dairumme madinni Carrington nigo iktir sikanak bayanak maginarom Uzataran malak mesi mishishisi gold Sleyuvani gvagaron mishaluk numrog Ayuvani gvaran mishtalat me beting Maar brod maar vele kamelam hu bagi Bronagis melte beşkele kulaking Al kada beniriz godare she leven kin Ayuvani gver supon agus bar mushkel Abanana pringa gorok shishin bar ale Lekile fingele marshes legorian scape Snog mission through veris me scara markley Here and there is a shakerus grom a clave Blown unlily that leg me posene Beshkilum kui mahogum shapog the bill Godurin betile da guruk shit bolakle.
It's Susan O'Mara of Ballinora with a star of the county down.
To Banbridge
she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so neat from her two white feet to the sheen of her nuts brown hair. Sure, the coaxing elf I to shake myself to make sure I was standing there. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like that brown Colleen, but I met in the county town. As she onward sped, I shook my head, and I gazed with a feeling queer. And I says I to a passer-by, who's the maid with the nuts brown hair. He smiled at me and replied, says he, that's the gem of Ireland's crown. She's young Rosie McCann from the banks of the Bann. She's a star of the county town. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like that brown Colleen, that I met in the county town. At the harvest fair she'll be surely there, and I'll dress in my Sunday clothes, with me shoes shone right and me hat cocked right, for a smile from the nuts brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I yoke, till me plough is a rust-coloured brown, till a smiling bride by my own far side sits the star of the county town. From Bantry Bay up to Derry Quay, and from Galway to Dublin town. No maid I've seen like that brown Colleen, that I met in the county town.
Will the novelty acts please get ready? Iblera, Enniscarra, Ballinora, Clondrohad. And now finally for solo ballad, Angela Desmond of Éire Óg with Roisin Dó.
Oh, Roisin, no big brown north, no cost anish. So the fortune on Roiv is on board the good. Son of we want just our solia is a thrill armor is me kills for Fion's Bonnock Ermerojin Dove So grogum im Lord the hood lebli brock, brock, gone in oil gone, Ermarojindu, the hewling shone moonlight, is kuish naganok, mar yugabain runuit, no part lekyon, o gregrat yuk perduin, Gabriel Gamdot, Iskarbi plur skak nam man winta Mahorojindu. Begon farga natil padarga is unfair na fjall. Begon sena kagot kwegot Benji naganak, begog landsleep our faderen, is mwyn our grey, loegen solar nig Mahorojindu.
As to the act with Ballyanly and hospital rounds. Lee. This time it's Clonderhut with compromise ruling.
Now this is the story of the GAA. It boasts of a marriage of Jizz and Dufflair. It's written on papers for days and for weeks by such notable sportsmen as Breffney and O'Keefe. The marriage I speak of is between Australia and our own Erin So Green, and the setting indeed is in our own Parky Creeve. Now in the parish of Clonderhut there live two young men who decided to go to the match and see all the skills.
Well, thanks be to God, your lad is here at the match, Beanie. I hope to God now you're not after missing the bus. By God, if we are, we'll walk right into Parky Creeve. I wouldn't miss this match for gold. By God, if we will, you can carry me in your back. Feeny, how do you think the match will go? Well, I don't know, but I'm hoping for a small win for Australia. Do you mean you'll be shouting for Australia? Well, I do, and I don't. Do you know from that trace President Reagan's routes to Ballyporeen? I got awful suspicious as to where my roots came from. And didn't I buy a book that traced my great grandfather to Sydney, Australia. So, see, there must be some bit of Australian blood in me. What do you mean? Do you know that's kangaroo land? Well, the book says nothing about kangaroos in my family. Do you know I better stick with Ireland? Look, Finny, the bus is coming. So it is, Beanie, so it is.
They got on the bus in a most terrible tear, and they passed the conductor when he asked for his fare. "Excuse me," says he, "do ye hear what I say? We did," says the boys, "but we're only half fare." Not very long after, the bus was on the move, and soon the boys were going to the town of Macroom. At this stage, the boys were very content, as they sat in their seats and eating from silver mints. An hour has gone by as they pass by the Lee. As they look out the windows, their eyes full of glee. They pass the City Hall and down by the quays, and now they are landed at the famous Parky Creeve. The match had soon started. Sure, the boys were enchanted. The match, indeed, sure it was like a space age. But soon came a damper, when our fullback was clampered, and had to be taken straight off of the field.
Look, Finny! That big number 33 didn't play the ball at all. Be tough now, Finny. Be tough. This is not a game of Gaelic football. It's a game of compromise football. You must compromise. I know damn well if I was inside there, I'd compromise him all right. I mean, I'd compliment him with a Barry McGuigan special. Well, one Pat Spillane, a clever man. He said he wouldn't play at all today. For if he was, he'd be there inside now, and he'd hopping out with his leg tucked in under his arm. Yes, and man Furlong don't mind himself. He'd be walking out with his pen sign his cap. Did you see there on the late show, Finny? Where Paddy Bogie said, while he be president of the GAA, he be never seen a rugby match. But look, in that him over there. And I see the hair is standing on top of his head. Yes, and that our Minister for Sport there alongside him. Gosh, he must be awful ashamed himself now that God didn't make him Minister for Rugby. Look, he's getting out of bed now, Beanie. Poor Grandma Liston is getting a death for pulling his hair, I know. 'Tis all right if they don't pull the beard off him.
The match is now coming to a close. The crowd is scattering as they go to the cons and pros. Many eyebrows it will raise, I do suppose, of this compromise ruling. Will we see more? Australia have won. The first score they have settled. No doubt they went in today and tried the Irish mettle. And no doubt, come next Sunday, the Irish will have a score to settle. Meanwhile, Feeney and Beanie made their way from the park, as they made a straight line towards a public bar. Beanie thought the match was quite a bore, while Feeney looked forward to next Sunday for lots more. we're here now, 3 hours Feeny, and I'm still awful disappointed we lost the match. Now, I don't mind at all. There's always next Sunday. Come on, Emily, sing a song. No, show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. Today I saw a game of compromise football and it's gone right to my head. No, Paddy Bogey sat on a chair together with Cox Lord Mayor. And as they watched the match go into total disarray, Paddy shouts, lads, kneel down and say a prayer. No, this fine high ball was caught by Jack O'Shea, and this big ass came up and caught him like a bale of hay. Sure, he swung him around like a piece of thread. Sure, Jack might as well be at home in bed. No, show me the way to go home. I'm tired.